joined today by Susie Wilson. Now, Susie Wilson is the CEO and founder of Vamp Creations, a personal education business and finishing school. Susie is an expert in social graces, positive body language, personal grooming and skincare, makeup, and wardrobe styling skills. And she's certainly an expert in sharing the information today on the importance of first impressions. Welcome to the show, Susie.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Susie, when speaking with you in preparation for the show, you indicated something that makes today's topics, the importance of first impressions, critical. And that is that within only the first 3 seconds of a new encounter, you're being evaluated, even if it's just a glance. Now, that's quite a wake-up call for all of us, isn't it?
It is. It is. It really is. It does happen. And once that happens, within the first 3 seconds, you never get a second chance to make that first impression again. So that's how important it is to have that perfect first impression.
Mm.
Yes, and especially when you're, going into an interview, those you are being judged, and it is a judgment call from the top of your head right down to your toes. So they're really observing your demeanor, your mannerisms, and your body language. So, and assessing your grooming and your accessories. I mean, down to what's your handbag, your briefcase, your shoes. So this is done within 3 seconds. So, you can make an impeccable, fantastic impression, or you can actually have a, disastrous one. So that's how important it is.
You have mentioned that you can make a positive impression, a positive and lasting impression. You've mentioned 6 key points. Be on time, be yourself and be at ease, be individual, a winning smile, be open and confident, and be positive. So I thought I'd mention the 6 points. Could you just mention a point on being on time and how important that is to the first impression?
Certainly. Being on time, again, talking about the first impression, so everything from the moment you've walked in, you have been looked at and people are judging you. They're making a call. So being on time is really, really important for the reason of if you're planning a meeting, you really should be there, perhaps plan to be there 15 minutes ahead of time. The reason being you've got to look at parking, you must make sure that you go and have another little look at yourself. You're not, again, your body language, you're not stressed and hassled. So being on time is really important. So, again, in creating that first impression. And it also shows that you are keen and you are well-versed in for the next step, which is, the job interview.
Mm. That's such a great point, being on time, because some people, and we won't sort of go into MBTI, but, for people who are J, they're the real organisers. They love to have things flowing. If you're talking to an interviewer who is very organised and to the minute, and you arrive late, the first impression they're going to have of you is, oh, well, are they going to arrive late at work? Are they going to be consistently late in delivering projects and things like that? So that is an absolutely imperative point that people should pick up on. Now, the second point, be yourself, be at ease. That's interesting. Can you share a bit more information about that, Susie?
Sure. Being yourself and being at ease. So if you're feeling uncomfortable and on edge, this can make the other person feel ill at ease as well. So that is also giving and creating the wrong impression. So if you're calm and confident, the other person will feel more at ease. So when you're building a solid foundation. So again, when you're doing that, your first impression is a very good one. Their first impression of you is a very good one. So it's for the benefit of yourself, for yourself.
Great.
Yes.
Now you've mentioned also your little header here in your bio says a word about individuality. I'm very interested to pick up on your thoughts on the individuality component and how you can make a good first impression by being yourself, a little bit like what you've just said, but also picking up on your own individual traits and idiosyncrasies.
Sure. That's very important. The good news is that you usually can create a good impression without total conformity. One needs to know that if they are going for a job interview, your first impression needs to fit to some degree. So you wouldn't be going to, for example, if I was meeting with you in a, to be a part of a band, Keith. I wouldn't turn up in the corporate attire. So if I was going to an evening or a social event, I wouldn't turn up in jeans and a t-shirt. If I was applying for a position in the corporate world, I would wear a fabulous suit. So it's about dressing and being appropriate for the situation.
But there's still room for individuality and artistic expression within that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The way you express yourself, but there definitely is a time, like you wouldn't turn up with, a lot of piercings. Your piercings would come off. For an interview, you would need to take, if you're going into the corporate sector or the business sector, you would need to take, perhaps still have a piercing in one's nose, but take out all the extras. So that is, again, it is keeping you as an individual, but you must admit that you need to conform to the, interview at hand. So if you're representing my company, you will need to look a certain way, and that's vital, and everyone is like that. So you can't just turn up thinking that you're okay and you're so individual, you're out there. You can be so individual that you can become unemployable.
I think a good point in that too is what you may perceive as being individual and okay may not be perceived as being individual and okay from another person's point of view. So perhaps there are listeners today that are not sure, perhaps ask someone who is already working in that particular environment, look, I was thinking of doing X, Y, and Z. Do you think that is going to be okay? And so get some feedback on the individuality that you're trying to show to others around you, whether that is going to allow you to continue making the best first impression when you meet the employer. Now, the next point, a winning smile. I mean, it just seems like common sense, doesn't it? Can you speak a little bit more about a winning smile, Susie?
Certainly. It is vital, the winning smile. The saying, smile and the world smiles too. Well, it's true. There is nothing more to create a really good first impression than smiling. And it must be a warm and confident smile, not a smile that's just, beaming where other people can look and think you can seem a little bit insincere. So the warm smile and confident smile will put you and the other person, again, it's about putting the other person at ease, which is showing that you're enjoying the process, you're confident, and, smiling is a winner when it comes to great first impressions. So again, as I said, don't go overboard with this because people will think that you seem a little insincere. I've seen this myself.